Hello, today I'm excited to share with you a template I've created to track one-on-one teacher-student conferences. Now, the template I've created specifically involves the writing conference, and I use the 6 traits of writing as my criteria for tracking the topics of the writing conference with students, but I really think that this form and spreadsheet with accompanying Google script has the possibility to really serve a wide variety of one-on-one student-teacher conferences. Okay, so to find the template, type in doc template gallery. It should look like this, and then it will bring you automatically to the Marshall School Docs. And if you type in Writers Conference, search templates, you'll see here it is. Okay, so we want to use this template. Now by clicking on Use Template, it will bring it up into my docs. So let me walk you through the elements of this template. First, we have the form. So in this form, we have student name, teacher, date, the successful aspect of writing that the student sees as valuable in his or her writing, area for improvement, and if we see here, this looks at the 6 traits of writing, and then we have an area where the teacher gives a specific target for the student to focus on, and then we end with a time frame for practice. We also have, should this individual one-on-one conference be a mini lesson for the whole class, yes or no? Okay, so now, if we go to the spreadsheet, we'll see on the first page it takes you to the README page where I explain that this is based on both Nancy Atwell's In the Middle and Carl Anderson's Strategic Writing Conferences, as well as Andrew Stillman's Teacher Mini Observation Tracking System, which can be found at upd.org/miniobs. Okay, so this spreadsheet involves a number of different sheets. The first sheet is the student list sheet. So you have your student names, your teacher name, student email, and teacher email. For this column, A, you need to insert each of the students in your class. Here you'd put your name, and then you can simply drag and copy it down like this. And you put in the individual student emails that match up with the name, and then same thing here. You can put in the teacher, your email, the teacher email, and then you can drag that down as well. Now, the students in this column need to match up perfectly with the students on the form. So if we go up here to Form and we click Edit Form, it brings us back here, and we'd see that when we edit this, we need to edit the student names to match up exactly with this. Now, I am going to change this. Okay, now, again, I need to go to the form. I need to edit the form so that student 1 is actually Matt Whitaker. And notice that it can't be Matthew. It needs to be exactly as it is in the spreadsheet. Okay, so once that is saved, I'm going to move on. So I've got a student list. I've got my name across the top. The logs page is where the information will be submitted once the form has been submitted. This logs page will reflect the data that has been collected by the form. Before submitting your first conference form, make sure you go into the script editor, and you can get to the script editor again by clicking on Tools, Script Editor. We'll pull up this new tab, and here's the script that I wrote. You want to click on Resources, and you want to click on Current Projects Triggers, and where it says no trigger site up yet, click on Form Submit from Spreadsheet, and you want this to be on Form Submit, and then save. And then it needs authorization, so we're going to grant it authorization. And let me walk through what this script does. So when we look at the script, we see that when a form is submitted, it takes the student name, the doc template, and then it takes some of the values from the columns with the date, the success, the improvement that we want, the target area, and the time frame, and then it makes a copy of this template and turns it into a document. The next thing it does is that it goes through your drive and it looks for a folder, Writing Conference Notes. If it exists, then it will take this document and put it into that folder. If it doesn't, it will create a folder, Writing Conference Notes, and it will move the newly created document in there. Finally, it will also email the students this message, and it will email that document as a PDF. So the students actually receive this in two different ways. They're added as editors to the document that goes into your folder, but then also they receive a PDF of that template in their email. Now, if you would like, you can certainly modify this language here in the email just by changing what is inside of the quotation marks. Okay, so now let us go to the live form and let's submit a form. So we'll see that I put in the student and the teacher for the date, successful aspect of writing. Now in the area for improvement, this covers the 6 traits of writing, so we're looking at organization. And finally I can pick both the time frame, so let's have it actually done by next class, and you can actually pick multiple time frames. And then I can decide whether or not this deserves to be a whole class mini lesson, and we'll say yes. And then we submit the form. Okay, now the form has been submitted. You'll see that it shows up here in this 3rd row. This, in column J, takes the date, the time frame, the area for improvement, the successful aspects of writing, teacher comments, target area, and it puts it all there. This summary sheet takes the student name, the date, the successful aspect of writing, and the teacher target area. Both of these are used in later sheets, so that's why they have been put together. We have the student email here and then the teacher email there. If we click on the student sheet, we'll see that this conference has been for Matt Whitaker. Notice how the names automatically populate from that student list, and this was the first conference. Now the great thing about this sheet is that as there are following conferences, they will continue to move horizontally down this sheet. So you can see again, this is the information gathered from the logs. If we look at area for improvement, it's broken down into the 6 traits of writing, and we see that this conference focuses on organization, so you'll be able to see how many conferences you have with students that focus on organization, etc., etc. This might help for determining what should be some of the larger class instruction. On the tallies page, it shows again how many conferences you've done in each of the 6 traits, but then it also shows over here how many students have had conferences and how many each student has had. Over to the right again, we have mini lessons. So we'll see here that we said yes, that we did want to do a mini lesson for this. So it shows up here. This is a way of tracking so that I can see conferences would be good mini lessons. As soon as I've completed the mini lesson, I can simply type in yes here and it turns to green. On the Student Conferences tab, we see that you can keep track of the different times you have observed. So we have done one conference with Matt. Now, this page needs to be filled in manually, whereas some of the other pages are filled in automatically or correlates with the formal tracking, which is the next tab over. And we see that for conference 2 and onward, Matt Whitaker still needs to have a conference, but for this first one, these are all the students. So I have conference with Matt, but everyone else still needs a conference. This is a great way to automatically keep track of those students who you have conference with and those who you haven't, so you don't need to think about it before class. And so that gets at all the different elements of this spreadsheet. Okay, so now when we go into your Google Drive, you'll see that this folder, Writing Conference Notes, has either been created as it was just for me, or the document that was just submitted has been put in there. So if I click on Writing Conference Notes, I'll see the document that was just created. If I click on the document, you'll see that the template itself is in black and the notes that we wrote down in the form are in blue. And then we can also see that this has been shared with the student. Now, one thing that's confusing is that the person who is running the script or who has copied the template out of the template gallery is the owner. So I remember that I also put my name, my Marshall School email as the student, so it just double copied my email. But generally you would see that there's also a student email that has been added as the editor. And that is all the aspects of this student writing form. Now again, there are lots of possibilities for what this form can do, and if you would like me to help you modify it in any way for your class, I would be more than happy to stop by and work this, both the form, the spreadsheet, and the script with you so that it meets your needs. Thanks for your time.